chiming in with another update from the art scene, the genre scene, some might even say the geek scene. It's time to talk to a local artist who I'm very proud of at the moment. Local comic book artist Kurt Amacker, who's got a Kickstarter in the works for a director's cut of his local work, Dead Souls. And I'm very proud to say, with a heavy endorsement from Alan Moore. How's it going today, Kurt?
Pretty well. Actually, writer, not artist, but
well,
we can all dream.
Well, as someone who makes his living with words, I consider writers artists, so we won't debate the point.
Yeah.
So anyway, tell me a little bit about this. This is a director's cut of the original story. Give us a clue as to what sort of additional content we're going to be seeing.
Well, there's 70 new story pages, and in some cases it's just the original pages, which have been expanded a little bit in order to give the dialogue more room to breathe. My lettering was incredibly crowded the first time. It was my first book, so this kind of curbs some of my youthful excesses, so it looks like characters having a more natural conversation and less like people standing up giving really long speeches. So the other thing is we have a new subplot involving the slaver ship that is coming into New Orleans for the ritual that takes place towards the end of the book, and we actually cut away to the ship where this sort of prison story involving one of the girls that's being brought in named Mai, who is a Vietnamese kind of punk rock metal chick who is busy raising hell on the ship, fighting for her life, both with the slavers that are trying to bring her into New Orleans and also trying to protect some of the younger girls on the ship, because as happens whenever you put people in a cage, things tend to get a little tense after a while, to say the least.
I would imagine so. We've got an entire new subplot, a bunch of new pages. Are we going to get to see any, pre-production sketches or any of your rough notes or anything from the original in this?
From the original, there isn't actually a lot of kind of pre-work from the very first version of Dead Souls. I can tell you that Douglas Freeman, who is an artist with a company called RNA Brand, they concentrate on Native American themed comics and entertainment and apparel, is also doing all of the art. And what he's going through is with a script breakdown I wrote, where he's using the original pages for inspiration. In some cases, just kind of copying and improving upon them, and in other cases, obviously, he's drawing entirely new pages based on my instructions. I know Douglas is working on some concept art, character sketches, things like that we could show people who are interested in the book where we are in the project, besides just the 4 or 5 pages that have been posted as of now.
Okay, so at this point, we're just a little ways into the Kickstarter to help fund making this director's cut happen.
Right.
Since we're talking about extras anyway, tell us, just throw out a couple of the stretch goals people might be looking at if they decide to kick in towards the project.
The stretch goals or the rewards?
Yeah, the rewards. Sorry.
No, it's all right. We have a CD soundtrack done by Michael Gunn and his industrial band Shrapnihil, who are from New Orleans. And it's going to be an ambient industrial metal kind of mix. It's background music, not much in the way of vocals, except the last track is a cover of the folk song House of the Rising Sun, which is, of course, done by the Animals. There is a house in New Orleans.
Yeah.
We only say New Orleans when we're talking about a song.
It's acceptable in a song. Only in a song.
Only in a song, or if you're from Europe.
Well, true.
New Orleans. But in any case, Yerky69 of the 69 Eyes actually recorded vocals for this, playing with Mike. So we have this exclusive track. It's not a 69 Eyes track, it's a Shrapnihil track, but Yerky will be doing guest vocals as sort of a bonus track on the very end of it, which is very, very cool because
nice.
You can't get it anywhere else. The other thing is, obviously, we have autographed copies of the book, and we have new voodoo dolls done by Quarter Kids, and Quarter Kids did the Danny Filth voodoo doll when we raised $43,000 for Cradle of Filth last year. So we shipped out several hundred little Danny dolls all over the world. She's doing dolls of Vlad and Elizabeth for us, so very excited about that. They are up on the page and they look fantastic. It's something we've talked about doing for years and years, and finally, because of this project, I can get to see someone else's kind of take on my characters and my ideas, which is just, I absolutely love that. Outstanding.
So I've got to ask, it's always nice when you get recognition from people whose work you appreciate. How did you first end up encountering Alan Moore, and how did he end up becoming aware of your work?
I was writing for the comics media for geek media, if you want. I guess we call it that, for a website called Cinescape several years ago, which ultimately changed its name to Mania.com. And I was writing a weekly comic book column, and I got asked by Chris Staros at Top Shelf Productions if I wanted to do a interview with Alan regarding Lost Girls, which had not come out yet. Lost Girls is actually several months away, so they sent us a gallery copy of the book. Myself, my wife, and my roommate at the time were literally probably the first 3 people on the planet to read the book outside of the creators and editors and that sort of thing. So Alan and I did an interview. It went over really well. We found we just got along fantastically. A lot of good back and forth, tete-a-tete. I was obviously completely engrossed in everything he had to say. A lot of back and forth there too. It wasn't just completely one-sided. And so we just kind of kept talking, and we sort of, because he is obviously who he is, we had to formalize it. We kind of agreed to keep in touch after that, and because I didn't want to just cold call him out of the blue months later, we said, okay, this was fun. Well, we should talk again. And so we just did that. We kept talking over the years. We did a couple more interviews for Mania, and then through the Seraphemera website, my old publisher, we did the infamous Before Watchmen interview that briefly lit the internet on fire for about a week. And
I remember that.
Yeah, it was an interesting few days. But that was just it. I told Alan that we had this project going, and would he be interested in supporting it and being a part of it and offering sort of an endorsement, just as he did for the original miniseries when it came out. And he readily agreed, and so here we are. He's just a friend. We got on real well in the beginning, and we've just been in touch ever since. It's been probably about 8 years now, I guess. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, so as let's close out with a couple of bits of nice, crunchy information, to put it in game designer terms. First off, if you're local to New Orleans, you can go and buy yourself copies of Dead Souls and Kurt's other works at which comic shops?
More Fun Comics, BSI, Crescent City Comics, and Media Underground.
Outstanding. And if people want to go down to the Kickstarter and check out more details on the director's cut and possibly help bring it into being, where would they go?
It's very simple. It's deadsoulskickstarter.com, and we have a fantastic video there you can check out with both Alan and with Danny Filth from Cradle of Filth and Yerky69 of the 69 Eyes, along with Michael Gunn from Shrapnel and myself talking about the project. I'm very excited about it.
Excellent. Well, Kurt, we'll definitely be checking in and seeing how things are going later on in the project. In the meantime, guys, this is the official Humid City recommendation for a local artistic Kickstarter for the month of July. Thank you very much, Kurt. Appreciate your time, brother.
Absolutely.